Who do you think wanted Naruto dead in the series other than Akatsuki and technically Sasuke? So keep thinking while we reveal about it slowly in the video. The last video we talked about in detail was the Aburame clan. Now we are going to go over a different clan today, the Akimichi.
Okay. So, boys, what do you know about the Akimichi clan and its members?
So they are one of the core parts of Konoha, of course. In fact, one of the four noble clans of Konoha. I think a lot of their clan members are appointed as guards to certain teams for like a given mission or also for a particular person.
They have the ability to expand their body parts and their whole body like giants do.
Yeah, correct. That is the result of the Yang release, right? So they couldn't do that because of the Yang release.
Well, now that you mentioned that, where exactly have we seen this ability in the entire series?
Okay, so what is one of the first major abilities that is used in the series of Naruto in the very first episode?
Shadow Clone Jutsu, right? That's what I remember.
Correct. So perfectly said. So Shadow Clone is one more such jutsu, which was his Yang release, right? So small deviation from the topic now. So why do you possibly think Shadow Clone Jutsu was forbidden? Because why do you think the multi Shadow Clone Jutsu was called Forbidden Jutsu? In the first part of the first episode of the series itself, they say multi Shadow Clone Jutsu is a forbidden jutsu, right? Why?
Hmm. Well, when one person splits the chakra up into two halves without any proper control, he probably dies. So the other situation is if a shadow clone loses control, like in one episode where on the boat Naruto had multiple clones that started hallucinating on who the real Naruto was. So what happens if the clone uh, goes crazy, or what happens if the clone does something to the main person?
Okay.
The other question is like, what if a clone puts the user under a genjutsu, making him not release the jutsu at all?
Got it. It's a good, interesting point. You mentioned when he splits it in half, he might possibly die. That is not the ideal scenario because usually a person, when he splits it in half, he will possess a massive amount of chakra within himself. So he doesn't die like that. That's why Shadow Clone Jutsu is not a forbidden jutsu. But multi Shadow Clone Jutsu is usually something like it at least starts from 4 in number and it goes to 10. And in case of Naruto, it's way massive, right? So when people have so much of chakra reservoir and then they cannot, control the way how they split their chakra, that is when it becomes forbidden. But then that's one of the reasons. So as you said, whatever the things that you said now, the clone needs to be strong for this, right? At this point of time, it's a good point. But then it's forbidden for a different reason. It has something to do with the side of six path.
That sounds interesting. So, Raiju, you mentioned the possibility of Yang release technique converging to the Sage of Six Paths, right? That is actually looks like it's quite a departure from the norm. Could you please elaborate?
Okay. So Yang release potentially, it's leading to the Sage of Six Paths, and it's a very fascinating concept. Okay. So it suggests, interesting connection between the Akimichi clan, which is, one of the clans in the modern days, and it connects with the ancient legendary figures like that of the Sage of Six Paths. Okay. So now it makes you wonder about the origin of, these techniques and other, deeper lore behind, all of these things. So basically what happens is the Sage of Six Paths had used something called as a yin-yang release to basically create things on earth, whatever he created. Example, the tailed beasts, right? He used the yin-yang release to split the 10 tails into two major parts, which is the Gedo husk and the 9 of the tail beasts, right? That is what he did using the yin-yang release. So let me explain what is the yang release technically. So yang release uses physical energy to control the vitality, granting life to the forms that have none of them. Okay. So that is why, because Naruto initially couldn't control his jutsu. Later, he reads or trains with the scroll and partially masters the release. Okay. So another question is, in the very first episode of Naruto, why do you really think Naruto could master the multi shadow clone jutsu so soon in the series?
That's quite interesting. I feel like we don't get to know about this in the beginning, but then later, since he's the son of Minato and Kushina, very skilled shinobis, maybe he has that in his blood, the skill. I don't know, inheriting the skill, sort of like prodigy. And also Ninetales is within him, right? So the chakra is also there, so he has that energy. That's what I think.
Reservoir. Okay.
Chakra reservoir, yeah.
You're not wrong there, but then there's another reason. So if we remember what happens in the when Naruto was born, right? Kurama was sealed within him by Minato, right? That is the reason why he has a massive chakra reservoir. Agreed. But then when he splits it in half, he takes the yin Kurama within himself and then he places the yang part of Kurama within Naruto. So Naruto naturally has the affinity towards the yang release. That is the reason why he was able to master the multi-shadow clone jutsu that easily.
Oh, so because multi-shadow clone jutsu is basically yang release, part of yang
Yes,
release.
exactly.
That's why he could. Oh,
As I already
interesting.
mentioned, shadow clone jutsu is one of the jutsus which uses, the yang release to, cast it. This is the reason why he was able to master it. It was not a, like a plot armor for the main character or something, but this is even eventually later shown in the series, even during the part where, Minato and Naruto, they bump their fist, right, in the 4th grade ninja war. There also you get to see the two parts of Kurama, yin and the yang part of Kurama.
Yeah,
They
the
have
darker
tried,
and the lighter.
they have tried to show this there also, saying Yang Kurama was within Naruto, and that's the reason why he could master the multi-shadow clone jutsu that fast.
What about
Right.
Minato though? In his case, like he would have the yin release, right?
Yin release. See, he doesn't exactly needs Kurama to do things because he's already skilled and
Well,
way more
that is true.
skillful before that. But then Yin release, right? I think we'll expand on this when we talk about the Nara clan eventually. But then it has something to do with the spiritual energy of the chakra. There are two parts in chakra, okay? One is the physical part and the other one is the spiritual part. Physical part, as I already mentioned it, the yang release basically, it deals with the physical energy to control the vitality and then grants life forms to the ones that doesn't have. Minato could do something which the yin release deals with. That I think we can eventually make up another topic. The possible things he could have mastered if he was alive, etc., etc. Okay.
Right. Hey, one thing. So speaking of these techniques, you mentioned that the shadow clone technique is associated with the yang release.
Correct.
That's quite intriguing. But usually we hear shadow clones in relation to Uzumaki clan and their chakra reserves.
Mm-hmm.
How does this whole thing tie with the Akimichi clan's abilities?
Okay. So what happens is, so the Akimichi people use it basically using the body expansion technique or partial body expansion technique, right? So physically, you are amplifying a part of your body or the whole body in itself. So that comes under the yang release concept. It's dealing with the physical, part of the chakra, as I told you. So ability-wise, what else do we know about them?
So they deal with conversion of body fat to be used in combat purposes by intense energy release in a short period of time. But this also takes a toll on their health. Sometimes they use extra fat pills to achieve the same when they're incapable of doing it with their body fats, right? I've seen them use green spinach pill, the yellow curry pill, and the red chili pill.
Correct.
I think Choji has used this against Jirobu. He was one of the 4 sound shinobis.
Correct, right.
Yeah, true.
So what are their characteristics then? Like any unique, traits that they have through which we can say they're Akimichi, right? Like, but the Uzumakis, if you say they have a red color hair, so that's one of the traits. Like that, do you have something for Akimichi?
They're
all
chubby,
fat?
and they're all fat, like big. They're quite big and they're very chubby. And one thing that I've noticed, they have this body armor that they always wear with their clan symbol on it, if I'm not mistaken. What else? I don't know. I'm still thinking, but go on.
So there's one more thing. So every Akimichi has a symbol or a unique design on their cheek. If you see Choza or Choji, all of them have a unique, design on their cheeks. Okay. And they are all some sort of guards given to some squad people or some person specifically, or to whomever they are assigned. They serve as some sort of a guard, right? Because of their buffed up, built nature.
Right. Brutes, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's shift focus to the leadership structure of the Akimichi clan. Raiju, wasn't it mentioned somewhere that the clan had 16 heads?
Right. Yes, it has 16 heads when it comes to the point of Choji, right? When Choza was planning to give the leadership to his son, that is where we get to know this.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see the lineage and how it's passed down through generations. But what about Choji's daughter? Is she being groomed to be the next head?
Yes, because usually it comes as like a hereditary. Okay, it's like how kings give it to their children, right? Like that's how the leadership gets passed on in the Akimichi clan. It's the family of Choza himself or his ancestors. Down the line, they were getting the leadership thing. So indeed, Choji's daughter represents the continuation of the Akimichi legacy, while she is not the head right now because she's young, right? And her potential it's not reached there. But then yes, she is groomed indeed to become the next 17th head of the clan. So it's always fascinating to see how the tradition evolves and adapts over the time, especially within such esteemed families.
Yeah, I think it's their clan is somewhat similar to the Hyuga clan also in that regard.
Right, right. It's a very relatable clan. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
that's a different topic anyway.
Since we talked about this, the one thing that came to my mind was Inashikacho Trio. It's a
Mhm.
cornerstone to the Hidden Leaf's, tactical prowess.
Mm.
So, Raiju, do you think you can discuss on the significance of their collaboration and how it influences their combat strategies?
Okay. So the Inoshikacho trio, right? They embody the spirit of teamwork and the synergy. Blending the diverse abilities of each of the clans, right? And they form a formidable, fighting force. They're always a team 10 of their generation, right? Every generation has a team 10 which represents the Inoshikacho. Like as I told, there are many other Naras, but then Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino, right? The children of the previous Inoshikacho are the ones who form the Inoshikacho, the next generations. Okay. So their coordination and understanding of each other's strength and weaknesses allow them to adapt to any situation in a very seamless manner, making them a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. As I mentioned, in the 15th generation, the Inoshikacho was basically comprising of Inoichi, who's Ino's father, Shikaku, Shikamaru's father, and Choza, right, Choji's father. So the next generation, that is the 16th generation, it's Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji, all our favorites. And then comes the new generation, which is the Inoijin, Shikadai, and Chocho. Although, personally, I feel they are not yet there. I mean, they still have a lot of potential to grow up.
Rich. Yeah.
So, yeah, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Choza somewhere even mentioned in the series about this, about their teamwork, that their trio is probably the second best in the Konoha, right? As a team of three, it's the second best. So, come to think of it, who do you think is probably, the first best team, maybe? It's just a
Team 7,
team 7,
of course.
team 7 of every generation.
The goats. Neji's team.
Yeah,
I
just
think
team.
they were very strong, right?
I think it's team 3 or team guy is what they're majoritarily
Yeah.
referred to as.
Yeah.
They're
That
very
was
strong.
pretty good.
You have a killer taijutsu, a Bakugan user. Yeah.
And a good weapon user, right?
Weapon user, yes.
There is one question I wanted to ask. Like,
Mhm.
you mentioned that this is now the 17th generation. Do they mention any of the other 15 generations? 14?
Oh no, they didn't. Okay, because it's a probably unnecessary deviation from the story. But it would be nice if they did. But then no, they only mentioned the 15th, 16th, and the 17th generation.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, would have been nice.
Like, considering the two wars,
Correct,
like
correct, right.
the
You're
village
right.
was
You're right.
involved with, right?
Yeah, right. You're right. Would have been nice to see more of them.
Wait, so you said about them being the second best. So the very best. You're talking about the same generation though, right? 16th gen.
Yeah. The 16th,
Okay.
say 15. Basically, Choza told us, so it is the 15th generation, not 16th.
What about legendary Sanin?
Well, they're talking about their generation. So the
Oh,
legendary
sorry, man.
Sanins are slightly older than them, and Minato is slightly
Yeah.
younger than them. So they are in the generation where it's interesting to see like who were the other people in this. We can make another video about the people of the previous generation and all these things we can talk about.
Right. So since these all came in the backstories, I probably misremember. But that's quite interesting. Minato also was previous gen, no, right?
But he was younger than them.
Younger than. Okay. I guess Team 7, according to me, the very best.
Usually the team 7, right? Yeah, that I agree.
Yeah.
Well, technically, Team 7 also included Sai, right? There are 4 people in Team 7.
That is in the current generation and the Boruto generation. But until then, probably I don't think so. In Minato's team, there were only 3. If I'm not wrong, there are also only 3 in Hiruzen's team, which is also probably the first Team 7. So we'll talk about this in another video.
Yeah, I guess that's what I've got.
By any chance, are Sarutobi clan members connected to these people? Because I remember Asuma, he gave him some earrings or something.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right about this because the Sarutobi clan is the one that keeps them in check. Because as I told you, this is a tradition. It's not just a teamwork of three friends or something. It's a tradition of clan members being a member of a particular unit called Shikacho from 17 generations. Now somebody has to be there to sort of look over them, right? Like because there'll be sort of difference in opinions, etc. So the Sarutobi clan members are the ones, like one in every generation, right? So they are the one who supervises over them. And then when they become Chunins, right, that is when they give them an earring as a symbol of unity. That's what you saw when Asuma gave them all earrings when they became Chunins.
Okay.